Are you saying you had all your cookies in one cookie jar? In some kind of way, the jar fell over, it broke. Now you have glass all in your cookies and you can't even trust that. You don't want to eat the cookies because you're probably going to eat glass and it's a mess and like you're screwed basically. And now you got to start all over, go to the store, get more cookies, come back and do this thing all over again. All because you had all your cookies in one cookie jar? Seriously? Oh. Okay, so now let's take that same scenario, but think of it as if we were talking about your income and just kind of what that would look like when you only have one stream of income. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. It's Carly with Wine Travel Life with Carly G. Thank you so much for joining. Today we need to have a chat, y'all. We need to have a quick little chat. I'm just saying, need to check some pulse and kind of see what's going on. Okay, so here's the question that I'll kind of pose to the group. Why do we care so much about what other people think? Why do we care so much? Like, were we born to like be people pleasers? Like, were we all wired that way when we were born? Or were some of us kind of wired differently when we were born? Or is that just kind of like how we were all born and then eventually some of us decided to stay on that path and then some of us were like, no, I don't really care what they think. Yeah, so please let me know in the comments if you have any kind of insight or input about that. I'm really curious to know. I guess, I could go do some research, but if there's someone out there watching and you have the answer or, whatever the supposed idea is about that, definitely let me know. Okay, so really quick. So let's just talk about something really quick. There's a word out there and it's called safety net. When you think about safety net, think about, let's say, I don't know, construction people. They have some kind of rope or thing tied to them. If you've ever been to like those Cirque du Soleil, like little shows where they're a gazillion feet in the air and they're flying around or whatever, what happens if those people accidentally fall? Hopefully there's something under there that I've seen in the show I went to called a safety net. So I'm not trying to start, I ain't trying to start no mess, right? But I'm under the opinion that there's absolutely nothing wrong with having more than one stream of income. Clearly, if you know me, I have multiple things that I do for income, which that's the way I like it. It could simply be because my attention span requires me to have multiple things going on. Okay, so I'm not gonna run down a rabbit hole with that because I know I can get off and we'll be on a whole nother thing. I'm trying to keep this short and to the point. But my reason about asking, why do we care so much about what other people think? I feel like, sometimes there's this mindset that you go to school, you finish school or your trade or whatever it is that, your interest is at that time. And then you get your job in that specific area. And then that's what you're supposed to do, forever until you stop working. But then there's also, a mindset of you can go to school, finish school, not finish school, finish different types of schools, get certifications or whatever your interest is. But then, you start, on whatever that particular job looks like. But then, let's say down the line at some point, you discover something else that you're interested in. Why do you have to pick? Why do you have to choose? In my opinion, you don't. So there's this little, I don't know, statistic. I'm not going to quote a whole bunch of stuff, but if you look on Google, it'll tell you that your average millionaire plus has not only one stream, not two streams, not even three, even though there are a lot that stop at three, but some of the wealthiest people out there have about 7 streams of income. And so what I'm trying to figure out is, for the people who are on the same page as me, why do people look at you like you're crazy when you're like, oh, I do this, or I like this, or I'm involved in this and I have that? And I'm like, is there a problem? clearly there's a problem, because like, if you know what I do, okay, let's just cover that real quick. I have, my toes and my fingers involved in my brand ambassadorships, like my partnerships with different brands. So that's kind of one stream. I do also, like I've said before, I have a travel agency business. I'm a certified travel advisor. I have recently kind of stuck my toes back into the real estate pool of, that industry or whatever. And I'm going to be, like I was way back originally, on the lending side of that, because it allows me to be remote. And if you saw a previous video, I talked about how 2025 is going to look like, Carly's all over the place, but we're working still because we need to, we want to, but we're remote. We don't have to be in someone's office every day. And then I have, a small investment portfolio that, I'm trying to work on and grow, because not a single one of us are getting a day younger, right? So that's me. So what is that right now? Kind of like 4. And then I have another one that I'm somewhat working on that I'll, talk about at some point, maybe at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, next year, 2025. So for me, I think it's smart. I think it's smart to have multiple streams. I feel like that's kind of where in our day-to-day living that safety network comes in. Because, think about it. Like, what would you do? Let's say your scenario is you have one stream of income, just one. What would you do, if for some reason you decide, you don't want to work there anymore? Like, you just can't take it. What if they decide you don't want to work there anymore? Sorry, call was coming in. Or let's say you get laid off, or for whatever reason, that particular source of income comes to an immediate stop or a halt or whatever. What do you do then? Like, what's the next step? If you have tons of things for backup, fantastic. I applaud you so much. But a lot of us are not, like that. Like, I don't have a ton of things, for backup. And at my age, I'm still able to, and I still want to work. But, if someone is telling me on a day that I go in, deuces, like, what do you do with that? I'm like, what do you do? Or let's say, for instance, you're working, all things are good with your job or whatever, but there's an injury that happens and now you can't. Well, I know there's some kind of benefit that you can get and stuff like that, but y'all know what I'm saying, right? Okay, again, trying to keep it from running down a hole. Yeah, so which side of that are you on? Which side works better for you? And, how do you determine which side works better for you? At the end of the day, it's really up to you. It's really going to be about, what you're comfortable with and all of that. One of the things that I do want to just kind of share and just put out there, in the event that you are someone that has looked at multiple streams, looked at a side hustle or, something like that, but, maybe you're getting a little pushback from your circle of influence, or like, whatever it is, I'm just going to encourage you to kind of silence that noise, do your research, obviously. We don't need to be out there wasting our time, but do your research. And if there's something that, you're really passionate about, in addition to your quote unquote job, by all means, go do that. Go live. Like, you get one life here on this earth that I'm aware of, because do we really know? Like, I don't know, but anyway. But yeah, so go do you, like, for real. Like, don't be afraid to step out there, get out of your comfort zone. One of the things that I've been working on this year a lot is getting out of my comfort zone. Technically, this is me getting out of my comfort zone. But anyway, yeah, my battery's about to die, so that's my cue to kind of shut this down. But so try to stay, on a path that, that's right for you. Go with, where your heart is leading you. If there's people out there that are telling you, oh no, you're supposed to have one job and that's the job you have forever and that's what you do and that's your one stream of income, ask them. And then what do you do when your cookie jar breaks? Are they about to put cookies in your new jar? No, they're probably not. So tell them to mind their business. I'm just saying, nicely. But anyway, yeah, so just kind of do that. if you want more information on kind of what I do on the brand ambassador side of, my world, that's kind of where I'm able to, essentially, have income come in my sleep. That's one of the things, again, I mentioned in the other video, having passive income to me is going to be very important, because I don't want to have to physically exert energy and work for every dollar I make. I think it's fantastic to be able to, have a platform that, my clients can be involved in and get things, that they need. And I can be asleep, and wake up with sales. So that's always great. Or new business for that matter, or new inquiries, stuff like that. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely comment and, let me know in the comments, or reach out directly. So I'm going to kind of, just start wrapping things up with that point. Again, I don't want to drag this out. One thing that I will just kind of remind you is that, unfortunately, a lot of times when someone doesn't completely understand something, or they don't know how to do it themselves, a lot of times, unfortunately, they have doubt about it, and they kind of try to impose that doubt upon you or upon other people. And again, I'm just going to encourage you to kind of stick to your guns and stay on the path of whatever it is that's going to end up making you happy. And if it's one job, fantastic. If it's 5, great. Or not even necessarily jobs, but it's streams of income. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is that you feel like is going to be a smart move for you, do that. Please do that. Now, I don't want to, encourage a whole bunch of scammery or anything like that, but definitely if you want to share kind of what you do in the comments, please, by all means, feel free to share that. Again, you pretty much, have a gist of what I do. And yeah, and if there's any questions about that, like I said already, just leave a comment or reach out to me directly. I'm happy to answer any questions I can, or help anybody I can in any way. I'm not, again, I'll put these little disclaimers, not a financial advisor or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just, a regular person like everybody else. And I just like to share and help where I can. So hopefully this has given you some type of, little push or little nudge. If you're thinking about other things, if you're curious about other things, because I think that's a lot of times where it starts, that curiosity. But again, different strokes for different folks. And so I'm not knocking anybody's path or anybody's mindset. I'm really just kind of sharing mine, and, encouraging those that, want to look at something different, but perhaps they're a bit, nervous or afraid or scared, or been told that they can or shouldn't, or whatever it might be. Just encouraging them to make sure they do the research for themselves and know, what works for you. So yeah. People will always have something to say. Just don't let them discourage you from, living the life that you've envisioned for yourself and being happy and being successful. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending a few minutes of your time, your day, your week, or whatever with me, whatever point you're watching this video. I hope I gave, again, at least one little tiny nugget that someone can take back and use, even if it's just to kind of motivate you. Yeah, hopefully we can, motivate each other. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, be kind to yourself and give yourself grace. Bye. Oh, and really quick, my pop on. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to have you as part of the community. Obviously, like I said in another video, this is a fairly new channel, and I'm trying to grow the channel and just kind of, just grow a community where we can all have a good time, share things. The range of topics is going to generally be around, travel, lifestyle stuff, life stuff, wine, and then eventually a little bit of, little bits and pieces of real estate. But yeah, so anyway, I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.